Let me just record.
Because someone placed on the platform that says network is bad, so if you can record so that you can get it.
So the rational model, as I was saying, okay, because I didn't record the other side, is a step-by-step approach. It is formal. You get it? Meaning we've laid down this process down. Okay. Once we set up our mission and objectives, you have to assess our position by looking at the internal environment and external environment. External environment, we want to identify opportunities and threats, right? And that is where we are looking at what? The 5 forces, the government regulations, things that are going to affect us. Then we look at the internal environment. What do we have? Our resources and competencies, which is basically our capabilities. So actually, we achieve competitive advantage, right? When our resources are unique, okay? So unique resources plus core competencies will give us what we call strategic capability. Now, why do I say this? Look at this. Are you all listening? The banku that I'm selling, anybody requires some resources to go into a banku business, which is what? You must have cooking utensils, true or false?
True.
Those are the resources. What other resources do you need? Apart from cooking utensils, you must have a place, a premises.
People.
Also,
Source of food.
The manpower.
Yeah, people who will stir the banku for you.
It could be you. When you are starting alone, you don't need people. When you are starting small, you yourself will be doing it, not so. So you need basically cooking utensils, premises. You need fire, not so, a source of power or fire, right? People to cook, and you also need raw materials.
Yeah.
Now these are all resources, meaning that anybody at all can get this thing. True or false? Is this something that anybody at all can copy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, meaning it's a general resource. It's like a normal resource. We call it threshold resource, right? Anybody at all can imitate. Now, the ability to drive the banku, not so, or stir the banku very well, not so, it's a skill which anybody at all can do. But if you are just having these basic skills, then your banku will be normal banku, true or false?
True.
True.
What if the person who is come to cook the banku can use 3 minutes to cook the banku and the banku will still be nice like banku which has been cooked for 10 minutes? Is that a basic competence or is a core competence?
It's a core.
It's a core competence.
That means that this thing is so special that people cannot easily copy. True or false?
True.
True. What if I have electric stove? I have electric stove and I have automatic banku cooker. And my banku, when I finish, I can make it in boxes instead of way. My shito is in a dispenser. If you come, you click, you press it, and if you want red shito, it will come. If you want green shito, it will come. This one, can people easily copy?
No.
It tells me that when I go into this business, nobody can compete with me. So I've achieved competitive advantage. Hence, it's a strength. Makes sense, right? So anytime you're going to the business, you assess the external environment and your internal environment, and look at how you can use your internal strengths to take over the external opportunities. Now, the opportunity is that I have a lot of workers in my area, right? By all means, they'll be hungry. I've decided to go into banku production. Now, what is my strength? I have 36-acre land in my village, which has corn. Why not come and cook banku? So I'm using my internal strength, which is the land, to come and exploit or take advantage of the workers, right? Because there's so much money I can make from there. Now people want organic fruit juice. You have land in your hometown. You have planted pineapples. Can't you start making pineapple juice? So you are using your internal strength to take advantage of opportunities. I hope that is clear. And that is what we call a SWOT analysis. Okay? So you are putting your appraisal together, your external and internal environments together, right? That is why we say strengths, weaknesses, which are from the internal environment, and opportunities and threats, which are from the external environment. So you put all together to generate a position appraisal. Do you understand? Before now, you start what? Generating various options, whether I should sell the Banku or open 2 branches, or maybe sell at a lower price, or make the Banku difference and price it differently. Are you getting it? Or decide to what? Open 5 branches. It's up to you. They are all options. Then you choose from them. Then you now put people to work. Maybe Ama, cook this, Kofi, do that, right? Then you check whether you have achieved your mission. And despite all these things, you still need your stakeholders to accept what you are doing, because they are the people investing and are concerned about your business. This is what the rational model is about. And that is what our exam is about. The other models, we don't need them in our exam. We just need to know about them. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So my question is, which of the 3 following are the strategies in the rational model of strategic development? A, implementation. B, analysis, mission and objectives, review and control, strategic planning, operational strategy. Yes, which of the 3? Which 3 of the following? Please answer quickly and let's move. Which 3?
You have the
Which 3?
Mission.
you have the
Mission or objectives.
implementation,
Are you sure? Steps, the stages.
implementation,
Strategic
Mission or-
analysis.
the analysis,
Analysis is the
Strategic analysis.
Analysis. Your mission.
the
position.
No.
This is the same as position.
position.
Okay.
Yes.
Then
And the-
strategic planning.
Strategic planning. No.
Planning. Then implement.
So
No.
you have the control, review and
Operational
control.
strategy.
It's a type of strategy. No, it will not be there. Strategic.
Review and control.
Mission.
Stages.
Mission and
Implementation.
objective.
No, it's not
The
a
implementation,
Hey.
implementation.
remember. I told you this. You see, I've tricked you.
Implementation,
I told you that
Implementation.
once we analyze,
review and
know
control.
our position, it's the same as
Mm.
strategic analysis, right?
Yeah.
Then we make a choice. Remember,
Choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
we will
Action.
have options and then we choose from them. Not
We'll make a choice.
so this one
Mhm.
can even be broken into 2 stages. Then I told you that we can implement
Implementation.
and evaluate. Do you remember? Implement as a part of implementation
Yes.
evaluation. Into almost shada, you see the way they've tricked you. Almost shada, a break implementation, any review and control, which is the evaluation. So that means we have analysis, we have implementation and evaluation. So these are the points.
Exactly.
1, 2, 3. They didn't bring choice here. Yeah, real kakra, don't worry. As we go along, you'll get it well. Don't worry at all if you didn't get it. But I hope it's clear. Those who wanted to understand the emergent approach, please read quickly and let's go. You remember we saw
Okay.
4 models. Do you remember? We saw 4 models or 4 approaches to strategic planning. We saw what? The
Yes, sir.
most formal
Yes, sir.
model. The formal approaches I gave you 2. What were they?
Rational approach.
I gave
The
you
rational and emergent approach.
And the emergent
right? And the less formal approaches, I gave you what?
approach.
Freewheeling. And
The
then
logical incremental,
Logical increment.
the freewheeling.
Implemental approach. And free will.
So now let's understand the emergent approach. Please let's read.
Strategies are not always formally planned. In reality, strategies may evolve in response to unexpected events that impact on the organization. Mintzberg referred to these as emergent strategies. Mintzberg argued that in a changing environment, the rationale model is often too slow and quickly becomes outdated. As an alternative, Maisbank suggested that in reality, an emergent approach to strategy development occurs whereby strategy tends to evolve rather than result from a logical, formal process. An emergent approach is evolving, continuous, and incremental. A strategy may be tried and developed as it is implemented. If it fails, a different approach will be taken. It is likely to be more short-term than the traditional process. To attempt to rely on emergent strategies in a longer term requires a culture of innovation where new ideas are readily forthcoming. In effect, the timing, order, and distinctions between analysis, choice, and implementation become blurred in emergent approaches. For this reason, the analysis, choices, or implementation identified earlier approach is sometimes shown as a triangle rather than a straight line in the emergent approach.
Sure. Please, have we understood the emergent approach? So it doesn't mean that we don't plan there. We plan, but our planning is incremental. As and when something changes, we adjust. Do you get it? So that is why I told you that instead of looking at the normal rational model, which is the analysis, the choice, and implementation, right? We look at it in the form of a cycle, right? So analysis, choice, implementation, then analysis again. So when something changes in between any of these places, we can change and still continue. Are we okay with the emergent model? Are we okay?
Yeah, so Prof, sorry, so Prof, so how different is the emergent approach
So from
as
logical
compared to
incremental,
both the logical incremental and the freewheeling?
I'll come there for you to understand the difference. So don't worry at all.
Okay.
But you get a whole idea.
Okay,
So
thank you.
here is doing rational model in the turbulent or changing environment, right? So we are in the changing environment, right? But immediately our strategy becomes outdated, we take up a new one. We put it into a new plan. Here we plan. Do you understand? We plan all right. Do you get it? Do you get it?
Yes.
We plan, but the plan, we don't follow our original plan. So look at this. Let's look at the emergent model. Pfizer, a multinational pharmaceutical company, developed a drug known as what? Sildenafil in an attempt to deal with high blood pressure in patients, right? This was their original plan. The drug was ultimately unsuccessful. Immediately it was unsuccessful, but patients in test groups reported an interesting side effect. Pfizer sold the drug as Viagra and started a new multi-billion-dollar market. So what happened? You see the emergent model and how it works. I hope it makes sense. So
Yes.
doing this strategy, right? Logical step by step. As I was going, I saw that things didn't work well. Kale, immediately, what was the side effect? It was working in other ways, right? So we rather sold it at Viagra and started making money. Did we cancel our old plan? It was emergent. It happened immediately. We have to switch. Do you get it? So this one is more reactive than proactivity.
So can we give an example like during the COVID, when the nose mask and the face shield was very competitive?
Yes.
And then later it died. Can we use that scenario?
Of course.
As an
okay. Even look at somebody who was selling food, right? Immediately this thing we switched to online, meboa. And they started food and Jumia, Gigi, and those things. That is an emergent approach. Immediately we had to switch, but it was still the same path we were on, right? But we switched.
So just like the lectures we are having.
Yeah, I see a lecture.
It was face to face.
Used to do face to face, but because of direct contact and other things, they switched to online. You get it? I hope now when we put it practically, you understand. Strategy is actually practical. Now let's look at logical incrementalism itself. So this approach suggests that strategy needs to be what? A small-scale extension of past policy rather than radical change. You remember I was telling you, into your past policy, then kakra, then we are extending. Okay, this time small, something small has changed in the law. Okay, so let's implement, let's move. So look at what Lynn Bloom said. It says what? Please read this sentence for me. It says what? Incrementalism, initially developed by Lynn Bloom, does not believe that the rational model of decision-making is sensible and suggests that in the real world, it is rarely used. This is because strategy is not usually decided by autonomous strategic planning teams that have time to impartially sift all the information and possible options before deciding on the optimal solution. And I think this is somewhat true, right? Instead, managers have to sift through the options themselves. Due to time and knowledge constraints, also known as what? Bounded rationality. This means that they usually only choose between relatively few options. Is that okay? This typically leads to strategy being small-scale extensions of what they've done in the past, not something new. And even it is true, anytime you want to go and buy something you've bought before or something you've done before, you go and refer to your previous knowledge. True or false?
True.
True.
So this typically leads to strategy being small-scale extensions of past policy. In other words, managers try to make small changes to what they know has worked well in the past. So this approach to strategy has a number of advantages over the rational model. In particular, it is often more acceptable to stakeholders as consultation, compromise, and accommodation are built into the process. So this one has a method of even what? Accommodating change or accepting change, right? Or managing change. In addition, it is less of a cultural shift for the organization to adopt an incremental approach to strategy, as the organization will not be trying to implement major shifts in its activities. So the change will be gradual incremental. However, incrementalism may mean that the organization has no overall long-term plan, causing it to suffer from strategic drift, eventually leading to it being unable to meet the needs of its customers. In addition, it could mean that the organization fails to make major changes if needed. You understand? So it is good, but the approach is that you are not planning. And once you are not planning, you can fall. True or false? True or false?
True.
Please retest your understanding too, and let's see if we understood what we just learned. Please read quickly and let's go. Who is reading? Who is
Instead, managers have to shift through the options themselves due to time and knowledge constraints, also known as bounded rationality.
I think we have shifted from there on my network.
That's what we are seeing, say.
Oh, really?
No,
It's
I'm
which
seeing
one of the following
test your
statements
understanding too.
are consistent with incrementalism? A.
Network. Which one of the following?
Test your understanding. Which one of the following statements are consistent with incrementalism? A. Strategy tend to be small-scale extensions of past policies. B. No formal planning should be undertaken. The business should simply react to events as they occur. C. Strategy development should follow a series of logical stages. And D. Detailed internal and external analysis should be undertaken before deciding on the future strategy of the organization.
Which is the answer? Logical
A.
increment.
A.
Why not?
A and B.
Why not C?
Say
Which one?
C will be the radical. Oh.
Say
A. Then A.
Say
No, the C will be the radical. Or
series of logical stages: analysis, implementation, choice. Logical
Yes.
analysis, choice, implementation. Is it logical incrementalism or rational?
No. Rational.
Rational. That's rational.
Detailed internal and external analysis. Is it logical or rational?
Rational.
Model is where we do this. No formal planning should be undertaken. The business should simply react to events as they occur.
Freewheeling.
Freewheeling.
Really?
Freewheeling. Not so.
Yes.
But which one do we base? Do we increase small past policies? Do we increase it small?
Logical
Incrementalism.
So we increase it logically, not so. I think the people who choose C was because they saw the word logical there. So it is A, right? We extend our past policies by something new, small, incremental change, right? Nice.
So please, is this in a manual?
No, this is from SEMA.
Oh.
It's just for you to get understanding. ICA doesn't go deep into these
Please,
things.
will we have access to the slides?
Hello,
It's
sir.
a whole book. Oh. It's over 1,000.
Oh, okay.
Yes, please.
So
There's
what
a
you
picture
taught
of
us?
that place.
It's in the manual.
It's in the manual.
Yes, it's in the ICA manual.
Okay.
Yes.
But it's in it. It's not detailed like
So,
this.
No,
so
it's not
sir,
detailed
I
like
still
this.
go by let me read from the manual.
Okay.
It says that logical
Page
incremental, page 12.
Do you want us to go
Logical
there?
incremental model. This view of strategic planning is that effective strategies emerges as a series of strategies. Okay, the word series of strategies, as we saw in the C part, for sub within the organization, one at a time, and not as part of an overall coordinated plan. So it's series.
Rational model is part of an overall coordinated plan. That means you didn't finish reading. It goes to tell you that what new strategies are there forward, revised and implemented in increments. Meboa. So what you say? But you see, because ICA, they have covered everything in small chunks. Do you get it? In the exam, they can ask you in detail. That's why I'm trying to make you really understand these models.
Okay.
Because the examiner is mainly focused on rational model, you see, it doesn't really go deep. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't know. I think when you know, it opens you up. Do you understand?
Okay.
We will book, because it's more about the rational model. He just wanted you to have an idea about what these things are about. But they can ask in a question. Now, what kind of approach is this person adopting?
Okay. All right, sir. It's okay.
So freewheeling opportunism suggests that organizations should avoid formal planning and instead simply take advantage of opportunities as they arise. The main justification for this is that formal planning takes too long and is too constraining, especially for organizations in fast-changing industries, okay, such as pharmaceuticals and technology development. It may also suit any experienced managers who happen to dislike planning. So this model, we use it mostly in fast-changing industries, and also the managers there are very experienced. So they can depend on their experience and intuition for us to go into what way. So they can ask you, what are some of the problems of formal planning? When you do not plan formally, okay, lack of formal planning, you may fail to identify risk. There may be strategic drift. You may find it difficult to raise finance because if you do not have a business plan, no bank will give you finance, right? And your management skills, are you getting it? If you will not plan, then you need good skills. Are you getting it? That is it. Now let's see. TPLC is an electronics manufacturer which has recently created a detailed strategic review of its operations as well as its external environment. It identified that it has significant skills with regards to the manufacture of electronic displays and launched a range of flat screen televisions. Unfortunately, its new product range, while praised by reviewers, failed to sell well to the public. It abandoned its original strategy and took advantage of an offer by H, another electronics manufacturer, to make screens for HH's popular mobile smartphones. Which approach is the closest that adopted by T when accepting HH's offer? Which of them?
Emergent approach.
Do we all agree it's emergent? Do we all agree it's emergent?
Yes.
Why? Oh, we all were talking about these things right now. The why, no, you are not giving me an answer. Why is it emergent?
I think it has.
It is an opportunity.
It's opportunity. It's opportunity. It's
So,
not emergent.
So I don't support is emergent because with emergent, our initial plan still holds. We don't completely abort, but with this case, they aborted it and chose a new thing.
Prof.
So I don't think it's emergent.
It's still emergent.
Prof.
Look at it carefully. Yes, boss.
It's
If you say
emergent, just like the Pfizer, just like the Pfizer case.
The Viagra issue, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Check it carefully. They haven't abandoned. See, first of all, they created a detailed plan of their operations as well as their external environment. And they identified that they had significant skills with regards to the manufacture of electronic displays and launched a range of flat screen televisions. Unfortunately, its new product range, while praised by reviewers, failed to sell well to the public. So it abandoned its original strategy and took advantage of an offer to buy that same business, also, which is still electronics within that same area. True or false? Is it not still around the same industry?
Yes.
And now instead of making TVs, they are making screens. So is it still not within the same plan?
Yes.
So why are you saying they because you saw the language there, strategy can be like this. So you need to read to the end. That almost say abandoned its what? Original strategy, no. I was all kind to see what they are into. First, I was making TV. Definitely, I was making TV and screens, right? Now I've stopped this and I'm now making mobile, which is a smaller version of the TV, right? Mobile screen.
Yes.
It's still within the same.
Yes.
Technology.
I just switched.
Thank God this is not multiple choice.
Do you now agree it is emergent?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Because we started with rational model, right? But we had to switch immediately. So you see that ICA book emergent is not there. Who has realized it? Because they consider it as part of the rational model. Let's look at this one, then we can move. Read for me and let's see.
K is a small organization which makes plastic toys. The company was very recently formed by Mr. V. Mr. V is a skilled entrepreneur with many years of experience in the industry. The toy industry is incredibly fast changing, with new innovations being developed regularly. In addition, taste and trends change regularly, meaning that sales of toys can drop quickly as they fall out of fashion. Mr. V is aware that K will often require radical new strategies in order to keep up with these changes. Which one of the following approaches to strategic development would be most appropriate for K to adopt?
Which of them? I told you, which of them do you really need well-experienced management?
Incrementalism.
Freewheeling.
I told you when the industry is very fast-paced and you have somebody who is very skilled.
Experience.
An entrepreneur.
Yes, of course. Because this one, taking time to plan may mean that your toys have easily dropped because you couldn't take advantage of a new trend in the toy business. Maybe now they want Barbies that when you press, they will dance. But you are still selling the old chobi that the Ghanaian children put at their back and tie as babies. You will lose. You immediately need to take a decision. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
If I see yours multiple choice there, okay, be Diego. Yes, but you get the idea now.
Yes.
Perspective, and let's see if finally you can grab. Please, let's see Ali and let's move. Please read Ali and let's go.
You are Ali, a management accountant working for HAR PLC, a computer games company that operates in country F. You have just found the following notes from your manager on your desk. Note: Hi Ali, as I'm sure you are aware, HAR is planning to expand abroad into the European market. To support this, we have undertaken a detailed review of our existing operations in the European market. This has been used to produce a 3-year budget and operational plan for our proposed European operations. The European electronic market has always been seen as difficult market for new entrants. This is due to the fast-moving, innovative nature of the companies currently operating there. HAR has a high speed on research and development, and our directors feel that the company is well placed to compete with European games manufacturers. I'm meeting with the directors in 15 minutes, so I need you to make some brief notes for me evaluating our current approach to strategic planning. Can you suggest any more appropriate approaches we should consider? Thank you.
Draft a response to your manager as requested. Said what? I need you to write some brief notes for me evaluating our current approach to strategic planning, our current one we are currently doing, and what more approaches should we consider? Yes? So it's for you. Yes? What is the current one they are adopting? Strategy, the over dream power.
Expansion to the European market.
No, what is the current approach to strategic planning they are using?
Rational.
The rational model.
Rational model. Why? Why rational model? There's a clue in the case that tells us they are using rational model.
They are saying that
I think
this
it starts
has
from the
been
beginning,
used
the
to
detailed
produce
review.
a 3-year budget.
Yes, detailed review,
Review.
3-year budget and operational plan, meaning they have planned, right? There's a plan.
Yes.
Rational model, we plan. So there's a plan. So this tells you they are using rational model. But the thing is that the industry that they are going into is fast moving, innovative. I get it. So what do you suggest?
Freewheeling.
Freewheeling.
No, freewheeling, we don't plan.
Emergent.
That's one of the approaches. So suggest any more approaches. So if we have a very skillful manager, we can decide to use freewheeling, right? But because we are planning to continue to plan. So I think emergent is the best model here. Do you all agree?
Yes.
Or you don't agree? Because we are already planning. We can't switch to no planning. If we are,
we agree.
Do you all agree?
Yes.
Yes.
So emergent to be appropriate, but logical incrementalism too can help because we look at our past policies operating in the European market and try to merge it or try to fit it into this industry by doing small scale extensions of our previous strategy. It may take time, but we'll still get there.
Yes.
I think people have really understood it. That's very interesting and that's very nice. So that is about strategy in a jiffy. So now when I say strategy, you know what it means. When I say levels of strategy, you know what it means, right? When I say approaches to strategic planning, how many approaches of strategic planning are there?
4.
Which ones are more formal?
The rational and
emergent.
And which ones are more informal?
The free will and
logical and freewheeling.
Nicely said. Nicely said. Now that we understand this, we go to another aspect that we need to understand before we proceed with our journey in strategy. Is that okay? Which is corporate governance and ethics. we need to understand this to understand strategy, right? Because as a business, as you are thriving, you need to give back to society and you need to be ethical, right? The same way, the business must be governed. Meboa. Without proper governance, can we actually achieve our strategies?
No.
We can't.
Yeah.
Also, so there's a need for proper governance. Is that okay? So, corporate governance is a broad area of your syllabus. Very broad area of your syllabus. But let's look at corporate governance. So when we say corporate governance, what is corporate governance? When we say corporate governance, what is corporate governance? In your own words.
I think it's how organization is being controlled and directed.
How organizations are being controlled and directed. Okay.
Prof.
Yes, boss.
Let me just copy his answer and maybe attempt to build on it. I think there are principles or rules that govern how, like my brother said, how organizations are run.
Okay. That's true. That's true. So corporate governance actually refers to the system of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. So the relationships between a company's management, its board of directors, its shareholders, and other stakeholders all form part of corporate governance. Okay. So the primary goal of corporate governance is to ensure that a company operates in an ethical, transparent, and accountable manner, while also maximizing shareholder value and safeguarding interest of stakeholders. So it means that when it comes to corporate governance, your stakeholders are very important, okay? So we must understand our stakeholders and what they want from us. I hope that is understood. So we need to understand who business stakeholders are and how we can satisfy them. Okay, so stakeholder appraisal is part of corporate governance. Though, as part of your strategic analysis, you still need your stakeholders to accept your position, not so, and the strategies that you are pursuing before you pursue them. Because it will not be fair to go and take a strategy which is risky when your shareholders do not want risk. Anamebwa, would they want to invest in your business the next time?
They won't.
They won't, because you are giving them something which is more what? Which is more risky than their risk attitude. I hope that makes sense. So when it comes to
Yes.
ICA itself, they have two models of stakeholder appraisal that they use. Okay. They have two models of stakeholder appraisal that they use. Okay. So please, let's read. Stakeholders and stakeholder expectations. Stakeholders want something from us. Okay. So the stakeholders in an entity are the individuals, groups of individuals or external organizations that have an interest. So they have an interest or a stake in what the entity does or is trying to achieve. So some stakeholders have much more influence than others over the strategic decision-making of an entity. And the identity of the main stakeholders varies between different entities. So the stakeholders or stakeholder groups for a business entity usually include the ordinary shareholders, the controlling shareholder, if there's one. Okay, so sometimes we may have shareholders who own a greater percentage of what the organization shares. Okay. Who own a greater percentage of the organization shares, who we call the controlling shareholder. We have other classes of shareholders, bondholders, the investment community, the lenders, the suppliers, your major, your minor suppliers, your customers, your directors, your senior executives, government, pressure groups, local community, students, analysts, all these things, all these people are stakeholders. Now, if we want to categorize stakeholders, there are many categorizations of stakeholders, right? There are many categories of stakeholders that we can look out for. But then the general classification we use in our ICA paper is 3 categories. Okay, so all these stakeholders that we see, we can categorize them in 3 ways. The first is what we call the internal stakeholders. So the internal stakeholders are those who work within the organization. Okay, internal stakeholders are those who work within the organization. Then we have 2 connected stakeholders. So connected stakeholders are those who are sort of what? Connected to the organization, linked to the organization, have some sort of contract with the organization. Example will be what? Your suppliers, your customers, your shareholders, your lenders, your bankers, your financiers. All these people are connected to you. But the internal ones are those who actually work with it. So managers, internal labor unions, employees, they are all within the organization. Also, the directors and all those people, they are internal. Then the external ones are those who have no connection to the company but are still interested in the company's operations. So these stakeholders are what we call the external or secondary stakeholders. So the external stakeholders are the ones who are outside the organization, like government. Also, we have government, we have the media, anybody interested in your operation, we have the community. Also, we have potential investors. Okay, so investors who want to come and invest in your business. Okay, these people are all external. Now, the main theme of stakeholder appraisal is that everybody wants something from the organization. The thing is, can you provide for them? That's why we say stakeholder analysis and expectations. The stakeholders want something from the organization. Can you give them what they want? I hope that is okay. So since they want something from you, everybody has expectations. The thing is, can you satisfy all of them? Is it possible to satisfy all of them? No, it is not possible. So stakeholders have expectations. For instance, when you take shareholders, they have some rights, right? Their right is to vote on certain issues. Other rights are set out in their memorandum and articles of association of the company. Their duties is to also ensure that appropriate persons are elected as directors, and expectations are like so that their share price can grow and they can get what stable dividend or return on investment. This is what they expect from the business. The thing is, can the business settle them? That is what stakeholder management is about. Can we settle these people? Can we satisfy them? Is that okay? That is it. Now, secondly, we look at directors. Directors also have some rules. Stakeholders also, shareholders have what? A lot of things that they want. They want to be consulted on major issues. I get it. They want to ensure that what? When the business will continue to survive to pay them their dividend or their investment will not go or stake. There will not be fraud. There will not be fraudulent issues so that the business will collapse and all that. That's what they want. Directors will want personal advancement, remuneration, the business to continue to exist to pay them. Also, senior managers will also want good working environment. They will want to be paid good and better salaries. Also, they will want to what? Possibly have believed that they should have the power to make key strategic decisions. What about employees? Employees want what? To receive fair pay for the work that they do. They will often want job security and possibly career progress. They might also expect good working conditions. Also, the expectations of employees might be expected by the trade union representatives or expressed by them. Customers also have expectations about the nature of goods and services, whether you offer them discounts, you offer them lower prices, you offer them loyalty, gift cards, and other things, reduce prices for them. Customers are concerned about it. Customers also want you to continue to exist, to keep giving them discounts and services. Your suppliers might expect to develop a good business relationship with the organization, collaborate on achieving improvement in your value network. Also, communities might also expect a company to provide employment and economic prosperity by investing in the local area, building schools, clearing the gutters, building a hospital, places. Are you getting it? Keeping the environment, doing your CSR, your corporate social responsibility, or giving back to society, philanthropic duties, legal and other ethical duties, right? So when these stakeholders have some power, they can influence the strategic decisions of the company. Are you getting it? And that is what, when we say do stakeholder analysis, we are concerned about the influence and the impact, or the power and the interest of these stakeholders. Okay, that is what we want. So first of all, employees might have considerable power. when they possess a high level of skills, and it would be difficult to replace them if they left the company. That makes that sort of employee a key player. I'll come and look at the categories of stakeholders. Now, some stakeholders can be intimidating or they can be antagonistic. Now, such an employee, because he's the only one who has that skill, okay, he's the only one who is the skilled person. Please, these things can be put in scenarios for you. That's why I'm trying to give you the overall picture. This guy is the only one who is maybe skilled in data and security breaches, right? And this is a rare skill for somebody to acquire in the world, right? So we only have few people who can manage this side of IT. So if this guy is a data and security breach specialist, and only maybe the whole world, only 3 people specialize in this thing, I think this guy is so powerful that when he says pay him 200,000 cedis, you have no option than to pay him. Are you getting it? So this means this guy has considerable power. Do you get it? So employees have much less power and influence in a company with a highly automated operations, where it will be fairly easy to obtain and train replacement if the employees left the company. So security men, they can easily be replaced, meaning that they have low power. We can easily replace them. Do you get the idea? Or anybody who does operations, repetitive tasks, okay, that anybody at all can be replaced, that person has low power. Is that okay? The power of communities and the general public could be affected by government policy, how well organized they are, and how much the company's activities impact on them and their environment. For example, the willingness of a company to invest in a particular area could be affected by government policy and whether investment incentives are available. A company's concern for the environment could be affected by the threat of government legislation against polluting companies. Okay, so this is the only time the community has power. They can draw government's attention. Though the community does not really have power, are you getting it? They can influence the big dogs to come and arrest you. Okay, so you are producing rubber, you are dumping those things behind the company, right? One person will talk, does not have power. 2 persons will talk, no power. No, so by the time you see you are in the news, the government, EPA will come and visit you, standard authority will come and visit you, right? You start paying penalties and fines. By the time you see, they've closed down your business. Are we okay? So everybody wants something from your company, but the question is, how do you manage those stakeholders? That is when a stakeholder mapping comes into question. So a business entity should manage its stakeholders, particularly those with the greatest influence. Listen, I'm telling you this because of questions, stakeholder questions. If you are managing stakeholders, you are looking at those who have what? The greatest influence. Okay, so as a part of a review of your strategic position, now you all know what strategic position means, right? As part of looking at your strategic analysis or strategic position, you should identify your major stakeholders, their power and their expectations. So when you get a stakeholder, now we've seen the simple trick. 1, you must be able to identify the stakeholder. That is 1. 2, you must be able to what? Look at the source of their power. How powerful are they? 3, also, you can even decide to first, after you identify them, look at what they want from the organization, their expectation, right? What do they want from the organization? 3, after you look at their expectation, look at their level of power, look at their level of influence or interest, also, and know how to what? Satisfy them. Okay? So these are the things that you are looking at. Are we okay? So one way of presenting the results of a stakeholder assessment is to prepare a stakeholder map. This is a simple diagram or simply a diagram showing the main stakeholders or stakeholder groups and their relative significance. The purpose of a stakeholder mapping is to assist the directors of the company or the governance of a public sector entity to obtain an appreciation of who the main stakeholder groups are and what their real and potential influences are over the entity and the entity strategies. So one approach to stakeholder mapping is to show the relative significance of the stakeholder groups by using a 2x2 matrix. So there are a number of different stakeholder matrices. Okay, there are more than 2 actually. There are about okay, let me see. So when I was doing strategic management, I learned about 16 stakeholder matrices, right? But ICA has just focused on 2. And these 2 students in Unso, as a now, any of them The most important one is actually the second one that we normally use. But if they tell you to use this and you use this, they'll give it to you in the exam. But let's understand both of them, because when you understand, you can talk on all sides, right? Now, the first one we are going to talk about is the position and importance matrix. Now, the position and importance matrix is one model that you need to what? You need to understand. You see here that even the book clarified that the power interest matrix is associated with Mendeley and referred to as the Mendeley matrix. That means your examiner, your syllabus even talk directly about this matrix because that's the most important matrix, which you do at ICA level 1. So it is very important. I get it, even at this level. So this one, you can still use it because they may require you to use. But if they ask you for this and you still use this, no problem. You may be marked correct. So let's look at the stakeholder position and importance matrix, right? Now, this model actually groups stakeholders according to their position and their relative importance. Your position is actually what? Your level of influence, right? And your importance is the impact or interest that you have in your business. So in simple terms, you are saying that your position is like your power, not so? And your importance is your level of interest. I hope that makes sense. So you can look at it like this. Now we are saying that, okay, any stakeholder who strongly opposes you, okay, a stakeholder who strongly opposes you is very influential. Not so. And the one who gives you a strong support is less influential. When we come to importance, right? Those who are not important, we rank them with -5, and those who are very important, +5. So when there's a cross section, both of them cross, then we know. If you have a stakeholder who strongly opposes the strategies that you are taking and your policies, not so, and he becomes what? Less important, then that is a problematic stakeholder. So somebody who is very influential, right? Let's say that guy I was saying who is a specialist at what? Data and security breaches. Not so. He is very influential. He can easily oppose you and demand for huge salaries. Not so. But maybe he's even a junior staff in the organization. Not so. He's not that important, for instance, but he can easily oppose you. So he becomes a problematic stakeholder. Okay? But that guy, I'm just giving an example. He wouldn't be here most of the time. Here, most of the time, problematic stakeholders are people like, let's say, the media. Okay, the media can be problematic. One, the media can have they can have influence on your business. They can draw attention of other important stakeholders. But the media has less importance in your business. True or false? Give me a thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying in the chat section. Give me a thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying. You see, the media can easily oppose what you are doing, but they are less important in your operations. True or false? True, right? That is true. Now, when it comes to those who are antagonistic, these people are those who are problematic, not so, but they are very important. They have high influence, meaning they are very influential, but they still oppose your strategies. So they are called antagonistic. So they have a +5 in terms of importance, meaning they are very important, but they have what? A -5 in terms of opposition, meaning they are very what? They are highly opposing. I get it. So these people, example would be a director, not so, who is not agreeing with what we are setting, or maybe a shareholder who has maybe 40% of the shares and the other shareholders own 10%, 5%, 2%, 1%, 0.05%. Now, you see that all these stakeholders have small, meaning that if we are looking at in terms of importance, they would have been here, right? But this guy, because he's very important, not so, and he's also influential because of the percentage that he has, he can strongly oppose our what? He can strongly oppose our strategies. You get the idea? So the thing is that those who are antagonistic, you need to actually find a compromise with them, because these people can easily collapse your business. For instance, what if you have a major supplier, right? a supplier who actually buys like 80% of all the goods you sell. That means the 20% goes to the general public. No, so 20% actually goes to the general what? Public. That tells us that this supplier is somebody we don't have to joke with. One, he's influential. He buys a larger percentage of our goods and services. And also very important, because once the supplier says he will not buy from us again, our business can collapse. I get it. Maybe the supplier does not support our strategy of paying them every 30 days, right? They want us to pay them every 20 days, meaning they are opposing our plan. And they are also very important, meaning at that point they become antagonistic. But what if the supplier or our largest customer, let's say our largest customer also, our largest customer who buys 70% of all of our goods, we say that, okay, this time we are sorry, we cannot offer you a discount. And he agrees. And he said, I understand, money is no longer there like before. I will understand. That guy becomes a supporter. One, he's very important, all right? But he's not opposing my policies. He's still supporting me. Now, so whatever I suggested, he was okay with it. He didn't. Maybe I decided that all customers should pay in 3 installments in the year or pay immediately. And this guy didn't oppose that. And he said, fine, I'll pay immediately. But this guy buys about 70% of all our stuff or our goods. It tells us that this guy is a supporter. He's supporting our strategies, right? Then we have those who support us, all right. That means they do not have so much influence, not so, but they support our strategies. They are not that important, but they support our strategies. These people are low priority. So low priority, mostly you do not do anything because no matter what you do, you support them. But sometimes you just maintain their loyalty. Are you getting it? You just communicate to them as and when that is what necessary. So in an exam, you have to look at the nature of what the people in the case, look at their position. What are they standing on? Are they opposing what you have said already? And what is their level of importance? Are they higher in the organizational hierarchy? So let's look at importance. Tell me, between the messenger in the company, messenger, supervisor, finance manager, financial controller, financial accountant, and CFO, or let me use CEO. Now let's rank them in order of importance and who will be more opposing. Yes, in order of importance and opposition. So tell me from 1 through to 5. I want you to rank from -5 to 5, any position between this. So from -5, 4, 3, 2 up to 5. Let's see where we'll put these ones. Yes, you can just post your answer for me. So messenger, where will we put messenger? So once you give me the position, you tell me what type of stakeholder messenger becomes, whether supporter, antagonistic, low priority, not so. Is that okay? So that's the approach I want, or problematic. So you can start. Just type it for me. The people that have put there, quick. Okay, let me add media, chiefs in the community, students who want to come and do research in your facility. Yes. So once you tell me the name, okay? The messenger is low priority. Okay. What follows? You pick one, you tell me. Messenger, low priority. He may support, but he is not that important. The media, problematic. Media can be influential, not so, but they may not support you as well. Okay, problematic. But in the space where you are doing something good, the media can support you, meaning media can move from problematic to maybe a low priority. Do you get the idea? So it depends on how you say it. CEO, supporter. Not all the time. Sarah, Not all the time. Sometimes the CEO may not be in support of what we are. Okay, the CEO is the one running the company, so I'll take a supporter because everything is run on his decision. So that's good. Yes, so supporter. CEO, not director. So thank you. Supporter. Yes, anybody? We have others to go. This is that all. We have some other people you haven't mentioned though. Financial manager, supporter. Okay, I'll take it. Supervisor, antagonistic. Please, the person who said the supervisor is antagonistic, can you explain why the supervisor will be antagonistic? So you can mute. Just, Abraham, you can mute. I've asked you to unmute. Unmute and tell me why you think the supervisor will be antagonistic.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes, boss.
Yeah, he's antagonistic because he's important to the stake. He's an important stakeholder,
okay.
But he has the position on the issue is not always high. It's low.
So you can say that he's not very influential,
yes,
but he's somebody who can easily oppose.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Yes, that's fine. We are still left with the chiefs in the society, the students who want to come to do research. Yes, the chief in the society and the students who want to come and do research. Financial control antagonistic, okay. But he can also be a supporter depending on his position, whether he agrees with what we have chosen or not, right? So this one is like, this model is more of real time, depending on what is happening in the scenario and what you think the person's position will be. That's why we say position and important. You get the idea. So we will look at the scenario. Don't worry, I'll teach you how to use both models, and we'll look at the scenario and use all the models together. I'll teach you how to actually use the model. Is that okay? Chiefs can be supporters. Hey, chiefs are mostly problematic. Omeka say to your property rate, and then na quite say, and ammonia quite no, and a whole lot of issues. But anyway, a chief can be a supporter. Yes, of course. It can be a supporter and it can be problematic depending on the issue or depending on the information you have. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. What about a customer who bought goods from you and realized that the goods are defective and he returned them? What would be his position? What would be the position of the customer? A supporter, rather. He bought goods from you. The goods were not up to quality and he returned them for a refund. Somebody said he'll be a supporter. Okay, I understand. Yes, because he didn't make it public. Good, 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 good. Nice. The one who also said antagonistic, give us the reason why you said that he's antagonistic. Also, you should have asked me whether the customer is a key customer or a general customer. Okay, it could still be problematic because it depends on his level of influence, right? And his level of importance as well. Do you understand? That's interesting. People are gradually getting it. Now, I think I need to take a scenario and then we use the scenario to test whether we can actually identify those who are antagonistic, those who are, I get it. So let me take a case. There's a common case. Why am I not finding my notes? Please hold for me. I'm trying to find my. Okay. So please read for me. You can now mute. You can now unmute, please. Who will read? Just raise up your hands and read for us. Who is going to read? And let's see if we can identify. Yes, my boss. Please read and let's go.
E is a multinational organization and is one of the fastest growing global producers of chocolates, coffee, and other foodstuffs. E categorizes the countries in which it operates as follows. 1. Less developed countries from which E sources raw materials, but where there is no established local market for the finished products. And then 2, fully developed countries into which E imports raw materials, manufactures, and sells the local and export markets. In every country in which E operates, the OECD, that's the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development Guidelines for Multinationals. Okay, it follows the OECD. In the particular case of F, a less developed country, E has helped the local farmers to organize themselves into cooperatives to produce their crops. E has also funded schooling for the children of both the farmers and their workers, built and staffed a hospital, and has provided other welfare benefits. E considers itself to be a good corporate citizen and is used as an example of good practices on the OECD website. Although the farmers' cooperatives are free to sell to E's two main competitors, they tend not to do so because of the close and friendly working relationship that they have with E. Both of E's main competitors are multinationals, but both are smaller than E. E has recently been receiving some bad publicity in country F. The management of E feel that this is being organized by the government and the National Union of Country F. The government of F is reasonably supportive of business, but won the last election with a narrow majority. The government is now under pressure to increase the standard of living of the population. An election is due within the next 15 months. The National Labour Union, which is increasingly being supported by the main opposition party in country F, is extremely anti-business. It would like to see all foreign companies removed from country F and all foreign-owned assets and cooperatives nationalized. The government of country F has stated that the prices paid for cocoa beans are too low and that country F is not gaining sufficient tax revenue from the exports. The government of country F has threatened to impose an export tariff on cocoa beans unless prices are increased and unless E opens a manufacturing facility in the country F. The management of E feels that this has been targeted by the government because it is the largest of the 3 multinationals operating in the country. The National Labour Union of F has argued that the farm workers are being victimized by the farmers, who have become too powerful because of the cooperatives. It states that the government of F should not allow the farmers to operate in this way. The management of E does not want to build a factory because the transport costs from such a factory to the nearest market for finished products will force the company to operate the factory at a loss. The CEO of E is due to meet with government ministers from country F to discuss E's future operations and involvement in the country. Required: A, explain the advantages to E of conducting a stakeholder analysis of its operations in the country F. Requirement B, produce a stakeholder analysis for E's operation in country F.
Now we can show our crutch power, right? So F was a less developed country, meaning E only buys raw materials there, right? Okay. So in that case, first of all, we must identify the stakeholders. So who are the main stakeholders in the case? That's the first thing. Yes, I'm listening. You have to. Now, I hope gradually you are getting how we are going about this. It's supposed to be fun. Yes. Express yourself.
And so one of the stakeholders should be the government of country F.
So we had the current government. right?
Mm-hmm.
The current government. 2.
Yes.
Who else did we have? Yes, I don't want the same voice.
The farmers who produce the raw materials.
The farmers. Okay. 3.
Then also the competitors.
The competitors, other multinationals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Who else? Is I want to hear some of the ladies' voice.
The media, labor union.
The National Labor Union.
Labor union. Yeah.
The National Labor Union. Yes.
Media.
The media, the bad publicity, right? The media.
What of the citizenry? I don't know how I'll put it.
So the community.
Yes, because the government somehow may want to satisfy them.
Okay. What else? Or who else?
The government.
The opposition
party.
Opposition party.
Okay. It's likely they are going to win the election, right? Because the other guy won a narrow majority.
Slight margin.
So opposition. Or Fadia, he will drive all the businesses outside the country. So it's a threat, right? So actually, we do this analysis to also look at opportunities and threats from the perspective of our stakeholders. Do you get the idea? So apart from that, is there any other we saw? The workers, the farm workers. You know, the workers work for the farmers. And they said we were not paying them well. Not so?
Yes.
So we have the workers. You didn't mention the most important people too. They should have come first. Who are they?
The CEO.
The CEO and management, right?
Management, okay.
Okay. Those ones, they mentioned that management was not happy. Is there any other person we didn't mention? Okay, now we've identified. Now let's look at their position and their importance. Okay, so who opposed more? Who was more opposing? That means who was -5 more? I get it. This is how you go about it. Who was more opposing?
The opposition party.
The opposition party. And what is its importance? Is it high or low?
High.
For now, it's low.
For now, he's low.
Yes.
Why?
Because he's not in power.
He's not in power.
He's not in power yet.
Okay. So we will say that in terms of importance, he is low, not so? And then in terms of opposition, he's high, not so? Highly opposed.
Yes.
So if he's highly opposing and less important, who does he become?
Problematic.
Low priority. Problematic. Okay, problematic.
My people, you are getting it small. Very interesting.
Okay.
Let's see from the diagram. Let's see. So he has less importance, right? Because he's not in power, but he's opposing the business of multinationals. Meboa. That means this guy is problematic. Is it a thing is interesting? Let's continue. Who else? Who else was worrying about the operations of F? So we've seen the National Labor Union too is problematic. Or that one, they are important. They are more.
The media.
The media.
The
media too gave us bad publicity. But media, where do we place media? Is it important or less important?
Progress.
In your business, the media has no importance, right?
Yes.
Yes, the interest is low. Remember, the interest is low. So here is like power, right? How powerful they are. And here is like interest. So the importance is how important is it in your business? Media. Is it high or low? Importance?
Low.
Then what about their opposition? Were they powerful? Is the media powerful?
Yes.
The case?
Yes.
So they were opposing, right? So it means they are also problematic. So problematic, we've seen the national, we have seen the media and then the opposition party. Now let's see. The farmers. the farmers should have sold to the other multinationals, right? But because of the good
Yes.
relationship that they have with E, they decided not to sell to them. So are they
Supporter.
Supporter.
They are in support, right? That's their position.
Yes.
Influence.
And they are also important.
In terms of their importance, is it high or low?
High.
High.
Why high?
Because if they don't produce, you won't get the raw materials.
Okay. But we can also dictate prices for them. Because they can also get anybody. But you could also say from the perspective of bargaining power that it's because of the personal relationship, but because they have other people to sell to, they may also dictate prices to us.
Yes.
Yes. So it depends. It's between, because they are supporting us, it's between low priority and supporter. So I think the farm workers will come to low priority because they are controlled by the farmers, right? So they are in support of the business.
Yes.
We are building business, schools and things for their children, and we are paying them, right? The farmers are paying them, but they are saying that the farmers are not paying them well. So where do we put them as supporters? Or we put them at problematic? Because they were not being paid well and they raised the attention of the labor union.
Then problematic.
So they are problematic.
Yes.
What about the community? The community, did they complain? We were doing good things for them, like building schools and doing things.
Low priority.
Pardon?
Low priority.
Low priority. They support us, right? But they do not have so much impact in our business.
Yes.
Good. Yes. What about the current government who is in support of business?
Oh, supporter.
He's a supporter. Very important, and also what?
Yes.
Support, very important, and also what? Not opposing us. What about the other multinationals? What about
antagonistic?
Antagonistic. Why are you saying
antagonistic? Yes.
They are competitors, so they hold an important position in the organization when it comes to competition.
Okay.
But
they also
they oppose as well.
Yes, because they want to succeed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They are industry competitors.
Yes, so they will definitely oppose you, right? They don't want you to take all the market share. I hope this day was not difficult. This is as simple as this. But people actually find it difficult in exam, and I wonder why. So this came last night, and you could have used the second model to actually do it. So look, how do we satisfy them? Now we have been able to identify, right? But how do we satisfy them? How do we manage them? It's the management that we are concerned about. So let's see, this map can be used by the directors to assess the action they should take to try to what? Win the support of each stakeholder group. Remember that this is the main objective, right? To be able to what? To be able to what?
Win the support of the stakeholder group.
So we should give more attention to the most important stakeholders who actually support us. And those who oppose us, we have to try to beg them or find a way to make them happy. You get the idea? Okay. So that when we are planning important things, they'll not come and be worrying us. So in the matrix shown here, the main concern should be to deal with the important stakeholders who are strongly opposed to propose plans of the board of directors and are antagonistic. So these antagonistic people, how do we deal with them? Do you understand? So this would be shown in the top right-hand corner of the matrix. We know already. And then the director should consider what measures should be taken to try to reduce the opposition of these stakeholders. Their decisions will be influenced by what the consequences for the company might be if the stakeholders remain antagonistic. If you are not changing their mind, it can be an issue. Now, the solution might be to find what? To find what?
A compromise.
Which reduces the opposition. So my question is, how do you find a compromise with the National Labor Union? Because they are actually antagonistic, right? The National Labor Union, remember, they are important. Also, all labor respond to them. Yes. They are important, and also they are opposing us. They want us to pay the farmers high or the workers high. So they are opposing us. So how do we reach a compromise with them or find a compromise with them?
You meet them halfway.
Maybe we meet them halfway. What they are demanding, maybe we can ask them to reduce
and
it.
what you can also offer, meeting them halfway.
Okay, that is also true. Now, the problematic stakeholders, what we do is we try to win their support. One, why do we try to win their support? Because they are less, what? They are less important, right? That means they are less important or less interested in our business, but they are more influential or more opposing, right? So how do we try to win their support? Yes, how do we try to win their support?
Through dialogue means.
Okay. Dialogues. And what else? What else? Please, this thing, just take it as if your children are fighting. How do you solve this problem?
You try to explain the issues to them, what is bothering them, and how do you intend to solve it.
Okay. Okay. I think
constant engagement.
Constant engagement. That's true. That's true. Very good.
By engagement, yes.
Constant engagement. That's true. That's true.
I think, Prof.
Yes, boss.
I think with the
Prof.
you can kind of empower them. Sometimes what people need is not so much about the money, but about recognition.
Okay.
The fact that you respect what they contribute to the organization, it can also give them a soft spot towards you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. So that's one way to actually reach a compromise with them. You can even motivate them, right?
Yeah. Hello, Prof.
Yes, boss.
Please, what about the multinationals? In this case, for instance, can you say that because we were told we are bigger than, the company is bigger than them, the E is bigger than them, can you suggest acquisition as one of the
one of the ways
to
to
reduce
win
their
their
opposition?
support?
Yeah.
Because remember, they were problematic, right? Because they were small.
Yes.
Hey, they were also antagonistic.
Antagonistic.
Okay. Mergers and acquisitions can help. It's a strategy. Very good. Very good. Very good. So now, do you know what you do? If you are working the question, okay, you see this diagram. As part of your solution, what you have to do is that what? Now you are going to draw the diagram and place the various stakeholders in their boxes. Do you get it? That's the first part before you now come and look at them. So what are the strategies for management? What did we see? What are the strategies? Antagonistic. How do we manage them? Antagonistic.
Find a compromise.
Find compromise, right? So this is the summary you write in your book. Find compromise. Yes. Then we have what? Yes,
measures
boss.
and acquisitions.
Yes, boss. I can hear you, please.
With the antagonistic, sometimes compromise tends to also affect certain areas.
Okay.
So instead of compromise, I would have maybe suggested that you use the word find a middle ground, kind of. Because as for compromise, my understanding, you are foregoing or losing something of value to meet the person. But if you use the word maybe a middle ground or meeting them halfway.
So it should be sort of
It's still compromise.
It's still a compromise anyway. Middle ground is still compromise. Literally, it's how you argue your point out, right? But this is what the matrix itself says. Are we okay?
Probably they can if the competitors are in the stock market, they can take advantage and do what is called takeover through a buying of business.
Okay. So supporters, we maintain goodwill, right? Maintain goodwill, or we maintain relationship with them. What about a low priority? We just watch them slowly. The book didn't say anything. It was silent. That these people low priority. Do nothing, but I don't think you should do nothing because they are supporting you. You have to say something, right? So I prefer that these people, you just put in minimal effort, right? Like just informing them of changes and one or two things. Like the workers, you can't just say you be quiet on them because they are farm hands, right? At least you have to what communicate to them. Makes sense. Apart from communication, just keep them happy at least. So these are the strategies that you need to use when you get a question, right? Now I'm going to teach you the two approaches that when you get a question, you are supposed to use. I haven't talked about the other model. That's the last thing we'll do before. In our next meeting, we will start with corporate governance and ethics, right? But then there are two ways that when you are asked to do a stakeholder question, I want you to do. What did I say?
There are two ways.
So you can pick any of them.
To handle stakeholder questions.
The first approach is where you use the name of the stakeholders, right? So this approach, this is what you are going to do. One, I can just say the current government. Do you get it? Then I'll underline. You get it? Then I'm going to say the current government has what? Is very important, not so? Very important as it what? It controls majority of what? Of businesses, not so? And support what? And supports business, not so? And supports the business of F. Meboa.
Yes.
Therefore, will be not so, will be placed at maybe -5, not so, or +5 for what? Support, not so, and +5 for what?
Position.
Position. They are therefore what? Or they will be classified as who? Who would they be classified as?
Supporter.
As supporters. Also, the most appropriate strategy with this government is to what? Is to maintain what?
Maintain goodwill.
Maintain what? The goodwill. I get it. If you like to, you see this point, I will separate it. So instead of just adding it as a point, I will say what? Management. Not so? Then I'll say what? Maintain goodwill. Not so? With the existing way, don't try to breach laws and regulations or something. Not so? Conform with all regulations and laws, and you are good to go. Another student who wants to go along with the same thing could have said what? The expectation of the government. What does the government want from F? Not so. 2. Then he will now continue with this. Not so. So their interest or influence, and then their importance. Not so. Then finally, he'll end up with what? Their strategy, or simply what? The management. Are you getting it? So this is literally the first approach. I hope it makes sense. So you pick them one by one and talk about them. Which, if there are many, it can also take time, right? But it's up to you. Can I go to the other approach? Can I move to the other approach?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm clearing the board. Is somebody writing, or I should clear?
Yes, we're writing.
But I hope you got the approach. So you take them one by one with a nice heading. Everything is the headings you put them in.
So please, can you change the color of your ink?
Why? Is it too bright on your eye?
Find it difficult to read what you've written.
So what color do you prefer I use?
Black.
Black.
Okay, no problem.
Black.
Please, can I clear the board now?
Let's take a screenshot. It's okay. Use clear.
So the current government is very important as it controls majority of businesses and support businesses of them. Therefore, it will be placed at the what? +5 support and the +5 position. This will be classified, or they will be classified as supporter. The most appropriate strategy for managing these stakeholders or for managing this current government is to maintain the goodwill or something like that. Do you get it? Are we okay? Are we okay?
Yes,
Can I?
sir.
Okay. Now the second approach is the black okay now?
We're not seeing it yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's okay.
Or maybe it's not that.
So it's okay. It's okay.
Let me
okay.
make it
It's
more,
okay.
more bold. I get it. So now
It's
this
bold.
is what you do. I'll start with 1. Then I'll say what? This one you classify, the approach is now to classify according to the matrix, right? Okay, so this is what I would have done. Anytime you have a diagram, when it comes to ICA exam, always make sure you draw the diagram. Are we okay? They give marks for the diagram. Is that okay? So far as the diagram is not that complex. So here will be -5, not so. Here will be +5. Not so. So these people are what? Opposing. These people are what? Supporting. Then we come to importance. We have high. And we have what? Low. So let's just pick a few. So what's the name of these people? They are problematic. So who are the stakeholders in the case who are problematic? You list them. Mention them. Who and who are problematic? The media, not so. Then who?
Yeah, media.
Media.
I'm working.
The opposition party.
Opposition party. Then the farm workers, not so.
Farm workers.
Yeah. And the National Labor Union. So.
No, National Labor Union was important because the workers rely.
Oh, okay.
So here we have what? Those who are high antagonistic, not so.
So sir, this is how we were supposed to answer it last sitting.
This is one of the ways.
Hey, and yes, let me see you.
Don't worry. This time we are taking things one step at a time. Now, antagonistic. Let's see. Which ones did we have? The CEO. Or the CEO was a supporter?
The multinationals.
But we are talking about
the multinational companies.
The multinational companies. Then who else?
Labor Union.
The National Labor Union.
The National Labor Union. Okay. What about the farmers?
The farmers were low priority, oh.
The farmers
low priority.
No, farmers were supporters.
Hey, supporters. They were supporters.
It's the workers that were low priority.
No, the workers, some of them were opposing. The ones who said that the salary is too small, they were problematic. And those who were taking the salary as it is, like the community like this, it was low priority.
Yes.
Then the citizens, then some of the workers, not so. So you can put here some workers, not all of them. Here to some workers, not so. Some accepted the low prices the farmers were paying them. Some didn't accept. Then the supporters, who and who? The CEO and management, not so. Definitely
Yes.
the shareholders.
The current government.
Current government. Okay. Then finally,
the farmers.
The farmers. Okay. Nicely done. So once there's a diagram, try to fit it inside the diagram to see how it works. And you see, it's actually interesting. So now, if you are writing the answer, if you are using this approach, then the answer would mean that once you take problematic, okay, you are now going to what? Explain what problematic stakeholders are by giving their position, that they are what? They are -5 on what? Importance, not so, and they are -5 on what? Opposition, not so, very opposing, also less important. Then you now what? Give the shareholders or the stakeholders who are what? Problematic. So you say those that find themselves on this matrix include the media who gave the company bad publicity, the what? The opposition party who are not interested in business, and then the workers, not so, some of the farm workers. Then you say the strategy for managing them includes what? Trying to win their what? Support. You get it? So this approach, you see, is very easy than the first one.
Yes.
Because this one you just explained, then you state those that fall under them and just give the strategy. The other approach too is that you take it one by one and explain each, at least speak about 5. But this one, you pick the major ones. You talk about problematic, what it means, who they are, then their strategy. So you see, I'm taking the matrices one by one. I want you to really get it. So you can apply all the 2 models. I get in it. Not the 2 approaches, so, but there are 2 models for this. So we've looked at the position and importance matrix. We are now coming to the other side, which is the Mendelow's matrix, right? The Mendelow's matrix is actually like this one, right? But that one, it groups according to interest and power. Is that okay? It groups according to interest and power. Okay, so with Mendelow's matrix is simple. So if we are supposed to use the same 2 by 2 that we did, okay? Well, this is the common one that they teach in all strategy courses too. But I hope the first one you've understood it very well and you can apply it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this one, I'm just going to explain it like the other one. Remember, power is the ability to also oppose. Remember, it looks like the ability to oppose. So power, it could be high and it could be low, not so. Interest too can be low and it can be high, not so. Just like the how important is it to the organization and how powerful or opposing can it be? Do you get the idea? So let's see. If you have high power, right? Your ability to direct operations and ability to oppose is high, but your interest is low. These people, you don't want to go on their bad side. So you always keep them what? Satisfied. Is that okay? Please, are we all listening? So
Yes,
this is
sir.
what's called the power interest matrix. This is based on power and interest. So these people, we keep them satisfied. Example is government and maybe the National Labor Union. National Labor Union. Why? Because if you angry them, they can close you down. True or false? True or false?
True.
True. Because you have to comply with their policies. You don't have to breach any laws. Not so. So we call them keep satisfied. Now, those where we have high interest and high power, okay, they are called key players. Okay. So key players may be people who are very interested. Let's say we have a key customer or a key supplier. Also, maybe our bankers, maybe our shareholders, also maybe the management. I get it. These are key players. Are you okay? So key players, we monitor them closely. Then we have those who are low priority, right? Those who are low priority, we call them minimal effort. So those that we do not do anything, or if possible, only small communication, like the community, the media. Are we okay? So these people are minimal effort. We don't put in so much effort dealing with them. We just make sure we do what we need to do. And in this case, the minimal efforts are these people, right? From the case that we were doing. When we come to those who have what? High interest but low power, we just keep them informed of things that are happening. Also, keep them informed. Like our small customers and suppliers. Also, our small customers and suppliers, the farm workers, are you getting it? The farm workers, the farmers themselves. Some of the farmers will put them as key players, right? The large farmers, but the small ones, the small farmers, those ones, we don't worry ourselves. Also, I get it. So minimal effort like the multinational entities. Here in this model, we'll put them here. The reason is because those people, we don't really put in anything. Or what do you think? Should we put them at skip? Where do we put them? Because those people, they can't come and put themselves in our business, right? So this is how you apply the Mendeley matrix. The same approach. You can either take the entity's name, let's say government, and start writing under. Government has high power, and therefore this and that and that and that. Also, therefore, government should be kept satisfied or keep satisfied stakeholder. And the approach is what? To keep him satisfied by what? Complying with laws and regulations. Then when it comes to employees, you can put them under keep informed. Or just like I told you, you can plot their names in just like I've done and then take them one by one. So if I take what? Keep satisfied, I will explain what keep satisfied is. Also, I will identify the stakeholder here, tell us his power and his interest, also, and give us a strategy or place him on the map. Where is he going to be on the stakeholder map? Which is this? Then you are done. So have we understood the two models? And we can actually apply it in a scenario. Yes or no?
Yes.
Are we sure? Are we sure? Today there we didn't learn anything.
Hey, sir, you have learned, Papa.
Is it case study is interesting? So let's see. Can we see the diagram? So what are some of the strategies we can adopt? Please read them for me. So high power, low interest, we keep them satisfied, not so?
Yeah.
What are some of the strategies we can consult them often, also increase their interest by
Then
players, also? It can be a hindrance to new ideas. They can be a hindrance to new ideas or strategic choices. For instance, if government sees that your business is doing well, it can take it from you, right? Government can take over your business. It can be a headache, right? So try to convince them to shift to either key players or maybe keep informed. But for key players, what do? We manage them closely, involve them in decision-making, engage regularly, and build strong relationships, right? This can also be used to manage the antagonistic people. Do you remember? These are all ways of what? Finding a compromise. Make sense? True or false? True or false? Nobody.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Then low priority, we just monitor them. No engagement, general occasional communication, like I talked about. But those who we keep them informed, they have less power. So all we have to do is keep them informed, right? We utilize the high interest by engaging in decisions. We consult in their areas of expertise and interest, like our staff, not so. Now, what if I have a key staff who has a specific skill that nobody has? Where would I place him on this matrix?
Key player.
He's a key player, right? Because without him, the business may go down because the business revolves around him. It's a squad at TSC. So do you want to play our last game before we close? Or we should leave the game for another time? My games are interesting.
Let's try it.
My games are interesting, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's play another one.
So, sir, with this one too, you would have to state just like what is showing in the diagram.
Yeah, these are the strategies to manage them, but don't put them in the diagram. Write them. This one, I get it. Just list the stakeholders inside, but the strategies, right? Jose, write the stakeholders and their strategies for managing them. Write them. So please write them, or draw the diagram and write their strategies inside. Are we okay? Strategies for management. Okay. Are you writing them?
Yes.
We are writing. No, this one we have to pass. Involve in decision making. Engage regularly. So is ICA likely to repeat
This is
this?
something that is there. You can bring it anytime, every time. So just know it. Now, don't ever think about repeat or no repeat. Just know the thing. So what I say? Once you know, you are
Okay.
safe. If we know, we are what?
We are safe.
We are safe. No, I don't know. Okay. Have you finished writing? Can I show you a mini case?
Yes, sir. General occasion communication.
Yeah, sure. Are you ready? Let's see. Read mini case 1 for me and let's see.
KPLC is a large multinational company that manufactures and sells motor vehicles. It has recently undertaken an analysis of stakeholders using Mendelow's power interest matrix. During this analysis, it has identified 4 stakeholders: ALPP, an international pressure group. ALPP is currently lobbying various national governments in an effort to reduce pollution, especially those from motor vehicles. LPP has arranged a number of high-profile protests in recent months, which have received a large amount of media attention. K is about to launch a new model of motor car, which is large and consumes significant amounts of petrol. B. The government of country H, around three-quarter of KPLC factories are based in country H. The government has enacted a number of new pieces of health and safety legislations for factory workers in the last several years. It undertakes regular unannounced checks for all factories in the country H and has recently heavily fined one of K's rivals for failing to meet safety standards. C. KPLC sales staff. K sales staff make up around 25% of the total workforce. They are not significantly ununioned and are relatively unskilled. They are all based in K's head office. K is considering reducing the number of sales staff by around a third as part of cost-cutting exercise. D. F Limited, a customer of KPLC. F Limited runs a small chain of car retailers. They exclusively sell KPLC's two-seater models of motor vehicles. F only represents around 0.5% of KPLC total sales. K is considering discounting the two-seater range in the near future. Required. According
Don't read
to
the
Limited,
requirements. Let's just see. Let's first try to use the opposition and importance matrix and let's see. Which ones are strongly opposing? Let's look at where to put them. Antagonistic, supporters, problematic, and low priority. Yes, which of them? Yes.
The International Pressure Group.
Which is LPP, right?
Yes,
Well, with
LPP.
LPP.
Problematic.
Problematic. Why?
Because they are opposing, they oppose highly, but they are not important.
Okay. In terms of the organizations.
The organizations, yes. In terms of their position in the organization.
So how do we try to deal with these people? What's the strategy for managing them?
You have to win their support.
You have to win their support. Then how do we win their support? Because we're on
Constant engagement.
Constant engagement. Okay. That our cars are not only going to pollute, but it's also going to what? Help people move. And I'm a
Yes.
Okay.
Government also have.
Okay. So who again? Now we've seen problematic. What about the government? No, the media was also there, but they didn't mention them. Media attention. Media was there.
Yeah,
Well,
media attention. Okay. So they too problematic.
Problematic. What about the government of country H? The government. What about the government? See, there's this thing here. It enacted new pieces of health and safety legislation for all factory workers, which comes at a cost, right? Remember?
Yes.
So where will we put government?
Antagonistic.
Antagonistic. Why not supporter?
The government who is being fined is finding people, finding those who are not obeying.
And what about the staff?
The regulations?
Our staff, our sales staff.
The sales staff.
Yeah.
Low priority.
Low priority.
So they are supporters.
They are significantly ununionized and relatively unskilled. They are all based in our head office, and we are considering reducing them as part of our a third of them as part of our cost cutting exercise. So it depends on how you explain it, whether low priority or supporters, right?
Okay.
Then a large customer constitutes about 0.5% of our total sales. That means it's a large customer, right?
Yeah.
That customer, where will we put him?
Supporter.
Supporter. Okay, because he buys and sells from us. That means he supports what he thinks. Now, if you are using Mendilo, the key customer will be a key player, not so?
Yes.
Yes.
The staff will be what?
Low priority.
No, keep
low
informed.
priority.
No, keep informed.
Keep informed. Okay.
We keep them informed of changes. If we sack them right now, we have kept them informed that, Master, please, you need to go home. When we need you, we call you. Just keep them.
Oh, okay.
You get it. I hope that we are getting the distinction between the two models. But they still
Yes.
Yeah. Then what about the government? Keep satisfied also.
Keep satisfied.
Yes. Keep
Yes.
satisfied.
Because you have to comply with the health and safety legislation. Then the pressure group. Pressure
Keep
group.
satisfied. Keep
Also
satisfied.
keep satisfied. Somebody may also put their low priority.
Low priority.
Or minimal effort.
Minimal effort.
It depends. So it doesn't matter where you put it, how you explain it. So what I say?
Yes.
Okay. So if you say so, they are. Okay. Betworth, a medium-sized online gambling company, is to move all its operations from the UK to a different country to reduce its cost base. The following stakeholders have been identified: a low-skilled employees who are not heavily unionized, customers, both UK and abroad, and UK government. But Betworth's move is not against the local laws. D, major institutional investors with shareholders between 25% and 30% each. Now, we stakeholders, let's first start with our opposition and importance, right? Matrix. So position and importance, low-skilled employees, where will we put them? Low-skilled employees who are not heavily
Low priority.
Low priority.
Low priority. Okay. Somebody can also say they are support. Okay. Low
Supporter.
priority.
Okay.
Low skilled. So low priority. Yes. Low skilled means low priority. Not very important to us. They do not have a voice. What about our customers, both in the UK and abroad?
Supporter.
Some may be supporters. Then the UK government. Our move is not against any local laws. It's not against any local laws. So they will not oppose us, right? So they are supporters.
No, so supporter.
So you see, with this model, it depends on what is happening in the scenario. What if we were breaking laws? Then he now becomes antagonistic. Not so.
Antagonistic, yeah.
What about major institutional investors who own between 25% and 30%? They fall between supporters and antagonistic.
Antagonistic, yes.
Depending on their position.
It's not clear where they are.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not clear because they can be supported because they have power. Remember, they own about 25% to 30% of our total shareholding. So if anything happens on the board, these people can easily raise up their voice and shut us up. Meboa.
Yes.
Can easily shut the other stakeholders up or the other shareholders up. They have power, so they can be antagonistic or supportive. Nice. It seems my people have really got it. Now, what about the Mendilo? If you are using Mendilo, let's group it and then we are done. What if you're using Mendilo? Low-skilled employees, where will we put them?
Keep informed.
Effort. Minimal effort.
Or keep informed, because employees, we still need to keep them informed. So, or minimal effort. Customers, it depends.
Key players.
You can put them under keep players. You can also put them under keep informed when they are local, normal customers who buy small quantities from us. And when they are customers who buy more from us, we treat them as keyword players.
Key players.
So if key players, what are the strategies for managing them?
We manage closely.
You manage them closely.
By regularly engaging them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Including them in strategic choices and other things.
Okay. What about our UK government?
Keep satisfied.
Keep satisfied. How do we satisfy them? Comply with laws and regulations, right?
Regulations. Engaging them more often.
Okay. Engaging more often. What about the major institutional investors?
That's key players.
They are key players. They hold a large number of interest in our business, right? And a large number of power, 25 and 30% each. They actually have control, right? These people are also key players. So that is it for you. I hope stakeholder analysis was interesting. It's one topic students do not like because the matrices are not explained to the students' understanding. So you realize in one of the videos, I actually gave it to you, but some people watched it, they didn't understand. But I hope what I did clarified it very well for you. And now you can apply it to a case study yourself.
Yes, okay.
Nice. So we'll keep going like this and we'll keep solving. So my last question to you is that ABC Limited is currently in the IT industry. It's a very fast industry. And the manager that we have has been in this industry for the past 50 years. What approach to strategic planning should we adopt?
Bro, please, you can see the screen.
The question again.
The question is not on the screen. It's from my head. I said,
okay.
Has been, is in the IT industry also. The manager has been in this business, the IT business, for more than 50 years. And the industry keeps changing. It's not stable. They have not thought about planning. Freewheeling, right?
Yes.
Entrepreneurial. What if they have been planning and currently, because of the change, they decided to switch immediately?
Emergent.
What if they are doing small scale extensions of past policies?
Logical
incremental.
What if they just want to stay in their comfort zone and go quietly, slow and steady?
Rational.
Rational model. Wow. Clap for yourselves. So that brings us to the end of our class. But today we didn't learn anything. So,
thank you. We've learned a lot, We've learned a lot.
So, we'll keep case study fun and interesting like this up till the end of the course. But please, you see, I'm going to send you the stakeholder thing, right? And then you use all the 2 models to work it for me. I will take it on Wednesday. So now that's how it is. So this one is individual. However, you can still discuss as a group if you like. So I'm sending it onto the platform. Make sure you solve, scan, send it to me, right? And let me see your approach, your handwriting, your spacing. I check all those things to see if you are eligible for the paper so that you can correct those things before the last minute. I hope that's okay. So I'll see you. See me. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So the video will be shared tomorrow. I have to convert it first.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.